take enough interest in herself to cultivate higher knowledge of herself to understand, that, the things that she would want, like how, I do with a lot with sexuality, like, that women want to be, they want to be desired, and they want their man to, really, really crave them and all that stuff. But then they don't show their man that they desire them. They're attracted to them. They don't flirt with the men, but they complain that they don't get flirted with, or, or you don't tell me I'm beautiful. Do you telling me handsome? Like it's that thing of like, you give what I don't even want to say what you expect. But if it's something that that you would appreciate, receiving, why not give it and see if that is what your partner likes that as well. You know what I mean? In a sense, because gratitude in context of relationships is just really about being acknowledged, saying I see you. It's everybody wants their partner to be their biggest cheerleader at the end of the day. No matter if even if you riding the bench, you better be there rooting for me at the goddamn game. You know what I mean? Like that's really, please. That's just really, what we want. Hey, doll. So, I think that when a woman does not understand how to be appreciative, like I said, it really boils down to, for one, and also if they don't appreciate themselves, they can't appreciate you.
Right.
They're not even able to the concept is foreign to them. They down talk themselves. A lot of people, they beat themselves down every day. So if you're beating yourself down and you picking yourself apart every day, that's what you're gonna do to other people. You're gonna pick your man to pieces. You know what I'm saying? And you wonder why, the condition of your relationship is in the toilet. It's because of your negativity. You're from the inside out, you're just rotten. And that's what you spill forth out of your mouth in what you do. It's just rotten. You're toxic. So, sometimes, to say about those men, sometimes they get with broken women and think that they can fix that women. Those women, excuse me. They say, oh, well, I'm going to show you I'm a good man. You never had a good man. I'm going to show you I'm that man. But then you complain.
That's promoted, though. That's promoted. You got to think about it. Any movie you see, Tyler
That's
Perry,
bull.
they're all talking about that dude to come and save that broken woman.
That's so bull. That's not healthy for him. It's not healthy for him. If I'm whole and I'm complete, right? Why I gotta deal with you and you 1/8? Why?
That's called love.
That is called that is called being of service. That is called helping. But it doesn't mean you have to be intimately involved with this person in order to show them that they are good men out in the world.
SJ said, women are never broken, they're only bent.
Bullshit. SJ, are you serious right now?
They're never broken.
You gotta take a seat now. Come on up here. Slightly, okay, slightly bit on top of that. Goddamn. Just take a seat. Come on up here.
Okay. He also says, when a person complains, that means that they know something that's better, but they're not willing to get it. Now, here's the thing. If you attract who you are, you cannot have better without attracting better. You got to be better and attract that better to come. It's got to start inside the out. I definitely agree with you, SJ, but to complain about wanting better is basically to complain about yourself, in a sense. I believe, yes, you can want better, but you got to want better for yourself, and then those things will then manifest.
You have to demonstrate that.
Right.
Talking about it.
He had another really good one. He says, as coaches,
how can
you do more amongst the at-risk youth that are feed lack?
They're fed lack and limitations.
And limitations. Well, the first thing we got to do is, one thing I've done a long time ago is I got rid of the word at risk. I got rid of the word at, especially when I started dealing with the kids that were labeled at risk. And I got rid of that because the moment that I started calling them at risk, I put them in a box.
In a bottle. Mm-hmm.
And once I put them in that box, as soon as I engage with them in a manner to where I engage with them. Here he comes. I engage.
What's going on?
Welcome. You took my advice. You took a seat. Yay.
Okay.
Well, listen. Let me answer your question real fast. About that. With the at-risk use. The first thing I did is I took the label at-risk off of the kids, because what that does psychologically, it puts them in a box. It puts them in a box that you can condition to think about at-risk kids, because they're all individual kids with their own individual experiences, and each one of them are placed in that situation, in that environment, due to many different types of things that happen. So I took that away. So now when I engage with that individual kid, now I'm dealing with them on their own accord. So the next thing I did is I listen. I listen more than I talk. So I ask a lot of questions and I learn those kids. Because a lot of times what ends up happening, these kids, they're frustrated because nobody's hearing their frustration. And a lot of times we get caught in this cycle of telling them what to do, and we don't really sit back and listen to them, so that way we can figure out how to help them navigate through the situation that they're in. Really, what happens with a lot of kids, they just don't have tools, or they haven't been given the tools, the guides to kind of navigate through the situations, their environments that they're in. So that would be a really good thing. The first thing is take out the at risk, listen to them, and then when you listen to them, empathize. Say, hey, listen, I understand where you're coming from. And if you don't understand, tell them that. Say, you know what? I've never really experienced what you're telling me, but I'd like to learn more. And what ends up happening is a lot of times they end up coaching themselves. They end up talking themselves talking themselves into their own lessons. They end up through the conversation. They end up, you know what? Dang, this really doesn't make sense. And how you know that they do that is because they start to backtrack on their own. Like they'll say something that sounds absolutely crazy, and then they'll justify it right away without you saying anything. Like, right. Yeah, man, I'll be out here in the streets, man. I gotta get these money and stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't be trying to like kill nobody or nothing. But so they'll start backtracking. Once they start speaking and they start hearing themselves talk, because nobody's listening to them, so they don't talk often.
Right.
They react often,
right,
but they don't talk often. So once they start listening to themselves speak, then they're like, you know what? That shit ain't make no dang on sense. Right. And then the next thing you do from there is you start putting them in different environments and show them different behavior patterns that they could use to implement into their own life. Right. So if you're dealing with any kids, mentoring any kids, the best thing you want to do is take them and put them in environments that they normally don't see, and then show them how you react and behave in it, and then show it so they can see the benefit of it, and then kind of let them, build on their own.
Right. And that's 100%. I mean, these kids only, a lot of these kids only think that what they see is all they're going to be. They only think that what they see, taste, touch, hear, and smell is exactly how their life is going to end up. But like I said, with these higher faculties that we have, we could be, they have, I tell all people that I come in contact with that you don't understand how powerful you are as an individual person. And a lot of these people don't realize exactly, why they're here. You're here for a reason. You have, there's no one's going to be like you. You are unique. There's not going to be another like you. You're the only person who has your particular fingerprint. So you're there. You're here for a reason. And I let them know that they're here for a reason and what their reason is and what their purpose is. They're being fed lack of limitation through their parents' lack of limitations. I mean, that's just the sad point of it. So because and I look at these kids and I realize that these kids are really seeing things that I have never seen them when I was young at all. I don't think I would have
so much.
Even be able to deal with half the things that these young kids are seeing. And what's funny is that one girl came to me, and I was doing a little coaching session, and with the kids, and she wouldn't let me go, and I was wondering why she wouldn't, because she kept talking, like, she kept wanting me around, and she said, I just want you to stay here because I don't like what's going on at home. I'd rather be with you. Can I come with you?
Mm.
And I'm just like, I can't imagine what she would be going through, and some they leave the earth, at a young age because they feel life is not worth living, and I can't understand that from a 14, 13, 12-year-old. That's just unfathomable to me. But what's so funny is that the universe allows us as coaches or people who deal with energy and love to give back and show them that there's a totally different way. And if they were able to just holster that, it would be so much easier and better life for them. And I try to install that in them. You got to do it that way.
Hey, you know what, SJ? You're gonna have to back up a second, and you're gonna have to revisit what you said earlier, because
you definitely got to cover. That's why I told you take a seat.
Women, let me tell you, women and men are humans. Period. Are powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you can always tell when a woman can be heartbroken down to the core. She could be heartbroken.
Hold on a second. Let's let everyone know what we're referring to a status you put up. You said that women are never broke; they're bent.
Right.
And I thought that's interesting. Go ahead and elaborate on it.
Women are never. They have so much power within themselves. I've seen women cry. They go through so much emotion. But they are never broken.
Never broken.
They're only slightly bad because they're able to repair themselves. That's why I tell everybody, you may be going through something, but you're never broken. I think your spirit can never be broken because you're a powerful being. So when I say that, it's in a positive way. So, everybody is quick to say, oh, he left me, I'm totally broken. No. You can repair yourself. You have the capabilities to repair yourself and move on and move forward. Because at this moment or that situation does not define you. Do you understand? So it's not a simple fact of, oh, I'm broke. We're just broken individuals. No. We're bent. And being bent is where when you're bent, you're always able to go back. Your journey always continues.
Mm-hmm.
You continue to be Paige Diamond. You continue to be Lex Kelly. By tomorrow, you got to be that person anyway, right? You got to move forward. And so that's why I think that we're always bent, but never broken.
All right.
That's why I said that.
In your definition of talking about never being broken. Yeah, I'm gonna get you right. You said that women always repair themselves. Means to again. So that means that it had to be broken in order to be repaired. So in actuality, and I don't mean broken. And when I say broken, let's talk about, there's in my concepts of broken, doesn't mean that you are totally obliterated. Absolutely not. But there's a saying that Maya Angelou, it's actually a quote from Maya Angelou. Sometimes we have to learn how to make it on the broken pieces. And so those broken pieces of being broken actually fuels me to be Paige Diamond the next day. You feel what I'm saying? Because I don't want to stay in this spot. You know what I'm saying? Me being bent, it ain't severe enough for me to make no changes. Being bent to me is just, I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm broken. I'm broken. We doing some demolitions. You feel what I'm saying? We gonna do an overhaul. We come out of this like, the phoenix from the ashes. If we're broken. Yeah. It's almost like, hold on a second. Let me get it. Because I want to get it. Because I need this before I break this thing down. Hold on 1 second. Don't laugh at me, y'all. Y'all crazy. Let me get this.
Okay. I understand where you're coming from. Like, I get your point. You know,
yeah, I get what he's saying though, and I love it. Because I understand where you're going with the words, because words are things. So I do believe when you do call yourself certain things, absolutely do give some type of connotation. So I understand where you're coming from, absolutely. So it's just so many ways to look at things. That's what makes this beautiful.
Absolutely. I think all with coaches, I believe that everything is by perspective. You know, it's the same cup. It may have different words on one side. I may be looking at the other side. Maybe
I like that.
But it's the same cup. But it's the same cup. So I'm not saying that you're wrong or whatever you're saying, because no one's ever wrong. It's all of a state of perspective, and I think that that can go a long way when it comes to relationships, personal or business. It's all about perspective, and so I agree. I mean, my perspective, I agree with your perspective 100%.
And I agree with yours as well. So we see the beauty in the essence of which each other is conveying. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes this such a unique place. This whole blab thing. It's the meeting of minds. I call it mind sex when we come on here. You know what I mean? It's like because everyone, even everyone that's listening, and even us that are engaging, we're learning and we're growing in this very moment. You know what I mean? It's like, never thought about it like that.
Paige,
I mean,
right?
No, I'm gonna go there, right?
Sure, go ahead.
So, how do we have gratitude in the bedroom? He just can't quite get me there. I should just be happy enough that he trying. Like, how do we have gratitude in the bedroom? You know what I mean? Really, 7-8 inches would be nice, but his 4 inches, I'ma just be grateful for. You know what I mean?
Let me remix that one for. Let me remix that one. He only got 6 inches, but I am grateful that it only takes me 2.5 inches to come. You hear me now? All right. So, yes, first of all, the nerve endings are in the vagina. Think about it, fellas. He's short stab vagina. You know what I'm talking about? She gonna come, ain't she? That's where all the nerve endings are.
Right.
So she should be grateful for your 4, your 7, whatever. Because all it takes is 2.5 inches. So it's about knowing the anatomy of things. You know what I'm saying?
Ray Day said he could make up another Aries.
Now, absolutely, sure can.
I think she got to do the dishes. We can't get it right. He can't quite. Now you gotta learn how to, how to do laundry.
You gotta know how to cook or something. Huh?
So, Paige, let me ask you a question. Why do you feel? Let me ask you a question. I know some people who have been married for, I would say, 30 years, 20 years, right? Say for 20 years, right? And I was talking to some individual that was married for 20 years, and they got divorced.
Okay.
Right? And I asked him, I said, wow, 20 years, you got divorced, right after. He said, yeah, I was married for 15 and I was already divorced for 5. So I'm like, so 5 years, so you were already divorced in your mind.
Right.
You were already divorced in your mind. So why do you think people wait that long? Why do you think relationships don't ever work out? Or let's say marriages, and they wait that long, 20, 30 years, and then all of a sudden get divorced?
Question, because I lost connection, and then, so they were together for 20 years, and then after that I lost you, and then I came back and was like...
I'll answer it first. It first, and then you'll probably kind of pick up. So basically, when you're with individuals, 15, 20 years, and they might take a while to go ahead and cut it off. Somebody I'm hearing some feedback. Is that me or
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
It's like you're airing in and out. Can you hear him, SJ?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay, so is it me?
No.
Everything's good now.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So pretty much what ends up happening is that whenever you've been together for a certain amount of years, especially talking about 10 to 15 years, that's a whole lot of investment that you investment in time. It's been a whole lot of investment in whether it be house, finances, kids, emotional investment. So what ends up happening is that it's not something that you go through a whole stage of rethinking. Is it just me, or am I overreacting? Maybe they're just going through something at the moment. Maybe I'm going through something at the moment. We'll work it out, and as we always have worked it out. So you go through a whole back and forth with yourself. That take maybe years you going back and forth with yourself. You're engaging with this person on a day-to-day basis, but in your mind you're going back and forth about why is it that you're not really in the connection that you used to. And then on top of that, you have to get over a fear, because once you've been and now it's time thinking about getting out on your own.
Yeah, I think it's fear.
Yeah, you have to readapt to a whole nother lifestyle, and especially if your physical finances are so much intertwined that you're not really independent economically. It could take some time to kind of gain that courage to say, you know what, I'm just going to leap out there and do it and be out there. And usually what ends up happening is the pain of being with the person ends up being greater than discomfort of being by yourself. So yeah, people are divorced and they're separated in their minds, many years before. I know people who got married and not even a week later were separated in their minds and didn't get divorced until 2 or 3 years.
Ain't it crazy?
I know people who have gotten married and were separated before the ceremony.
Wow. So why do you think most relationships don't work?
Well, I'm gonna let Paige take this one. I'm gonna let her do this one. I'll come in the back end. So Paige, why do you think most relationships don't work?
Well,
I don't want to be on here long because I know this is your show. I just want to ask that one question. I'll be
This is our show. Like, you were included. Like, this show can't be without you guys interacting, engaging, and stuff like that. So, hey, I'll kick you off. I don't want you here no more. Go ahead.
Why relationships do not last? Well, first off, people like the ego in us likes to think that we are in control when we meet someone. When in actuality, it's all about the hormones, the neurotransmitters, and all those fuzzy feelings that you have when you meet somebody. So in your first month, it's all about infatuation. It's basically you're intrigued. It's new stimuli. So therefore, you get into this person, right? And this person's shit smells like potpourri, because it's new and it's exciting, And so, what I'm saying? She got diamonds in and stuff. It sparkles, They just are great people, right? And so, but you're caught up in the chemical reaction going on. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so new and everything's so great. But the problem is that people take that introductory period and they take it as the reality, meaning that they think that feeling is going to last forever. And so what they do is they ride that wave of those hormones and the chemicals and the neurotransmitters, and they make that be their truth. People always say, "Oh, remember how it used to be? Remember how, why can't we get back that old thing back?" Well, because of the fact that was, you have to do certain things to actually stimulate, those type of hormones, those type of neurotransmitters, those type of chemicals. And I say all that to say this: we get caught up in a person, what they appear to be, and then what happens is that we take that and we run with it. We do not pay attention to who they show us they are. We don't pay attention to look. We don't observe. And then when we do see those red flags, what we do? We put them to the side because we're like, oh, nah, because it messes with the fantasy of what we think we have. A lot of people stay together in relationships because of time. I've invested so much time in this relationship. I don't want to start all over with somebody new. I didn't put all my energy into this person. I didn't groom them. I want to groom them. No, I'm not going to just pass them on somebody else can get them. And then they get that person, even though that person doesn't fit who I am anymore. The relationships don't work because in order for you to know somebody else, you must know yourself.
Absolutely.
That's simply what it is. Because see, if you have two people that don't know themselves, they will never ever understand and know each other. It's just not possible. Because like Lex said earlier, you are what you attract. And so when I hear people I saw on Fab Life this afternoon, Tyra Banks' show, and it says that couples argue. The average couple argues 312 times a month. Who the fuck got time for that? The average couple does that. So that means that we are dysfunctional. Our relationships are highly dysfunctional. Why are you're supposed to be in a nurturing, loving relationship with someone, building, adding to each other, leading each other to greatness? Why are we at each other's throat 312 times a goddamn month? Why? That is not the right person for you. Right. But you make them fit. I'm really anti-compromise. Alexa tell you that. I am not the compromise. I am not the ride or die. I'm believing in that foolishness. Either you fit or you don't fit. Don't try to make me fit in places I don't belong. I won't do that to you. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. All the time that we're spending picking at each other and trying to fix each other and mold each other and change each other, we could be with somebody else that like us just as the fuck we are. So why am I holding you back, and why are you holding me back from getting to my happy?
So it's just a matter of, basically it's a matter, a lot of people or relationships are not working because of they're leading through their emotions, right?
And they're not in tune. You know what I mean? Right. When you talk about the intuition, they're not in tune.
I'm gonna say this real quick and I'm out.
Why you
I gotta eat. I'm gonna say this real quick and I'm out.
Okay. You like, man, I want to eat this food. It's gonna be cold. Playing with Lex and Paige.
Just getting cold. No. Another reason why relationships don't work, and I teach this as well, is because we have lack of communication. In fact, we don't even know why we communicate. We have that issue. Another thing is that when you're with somebody, and this is very important, in order for it to make it work, you have to be able to know each other's rules. We don't allow each other. We don't tell each other's rules. These are my standards, and this is what I go by. And this is your standard. This is what I go by. So when we know each other's rules, whether they're bendable rules or rules that we stand by, then we need to let that be the first conversation before anything else. Before me even saying hi, how are you? So we gotta have or make sure that our rules are set.
Absolutely.
And when you let, like, listen, like, say for instance, Lex Kelly, he's a Christian man and he goes to church, and the girls that he's with is kind of like not religious. So he'll say, listen, I need somebody who, this is my standards. I go to church every Sunday, whatever, and this is what I do. And if this is not what you do, then this is not for me, because this is my standard.
Absolutely.
It's a standard. Okay. So that's all I want to say. But I will be listening to your guys' show. It's very good, because this is the kind of platform that these topics need to be on about, because I teach laws of attraction, I teach all that. Awesome. So this is really, really good. And I like the platform, Periscope platform, all that. And you guys are doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
Gratitude is great. Gratitude is great. Love is even better when it's done right.
Love it. All right. Eat your food.
Gotta
come
go,
back,
guys.
It is.
Bye. Thank you.
Take it easy.
Absolutely.
I'm going to piggyback on him a little bit, because when you talk about, when you ask why relationships don't work, and you touched on it slightly, when you talked about you have to know yourself. And it's very important. You have to know who you are, because what a relationship is, it's relating to you in a ship. You're relating in kinship. So it's you both are relating to yourself and coming together and being able to see yourself in that other person. And what happens is oftentimes we get into these makeshift unions, and we don't know each other. We don't know ourselves. And since I don't know myself, I can't recognize anything in you. And it becomes conflict. And then when it becomes conflict, then what ends up happening is that we get into situations where we seek out to inherit pain relievers from emotional wounds that we haven't taken the time to rehabilitate. If you look at most relationships that we run into, especially Black relationships, because psychologically and socially, we've been emotionally and psychologically scarred, handed down even through our gene pool. It's taught to us from birth. So we've been emotionally scarred. So we have to take healing. We have to heal first before we can really interact and engage with one another, especially on a feminine masculine plane. And we don't take the time to do that. A lot of times what we end up doing is we end up getting into unions, and then we have relatable conflict. We have conflict that we both are relating to. And in that, we never really have the time to get to know one another. We never really have the time to kind of to bond, because really what ends up happening is hard times in relationships should bring you closer. Difficult times in relationships will bring you closer, because those difficult times is when you both can sit back and say, we both have the strength to overcome this obstacle, because we're overcoming it together. We don't look at it as you're doing to me or what I'm doing to you. We're looking at it as, hey, this is a hill that we got to get over. How can we work together to get over this hill? And then when you guys do it so together, become confident and overcome it together. And now you have a relationship together of getting over hard times and difficult times in relationships. If you haven't gotten to that point where when you get to a difficult situation, you don't work together.
Absolutely.
You're not in a relationship. You're in a situation where, you're just with somebody to kind of fulfill your lower self, to fill your voice, or out of fear, like we spoke about earlier. And I'm still here. I'm just get the time to get the opportunity to grow with one another. And I think that's what a lot of relationships are missing. We don't get to grow. And conflict and pain and hurt, all that should be illicit growth. It should elicit growth, but it doesn't. It just kind of breaks it down and creates more scar tissue, because we don't really.
I have a question for you. Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
We got Dennis.
Hey, Dennis. I'll wait till you get live before I get all happy. I get happy when we get somebody to see. I'd be like, ah! How you doing, Dennis?
Doing good.
Good.
Doing good. I'm doing great. How are you two?
Awesome.
That's good. Not bad. Well, I like first of all, I like the conversation you guys are having. But for me, I actually can see this also, but not in a relationship form, how you guys have been talking about. Like for me, how he said about we don't know what we got until it's gone, and I've kind of gone through that, but not through relationship. For me, the way how I can go through that is I used to walk like I was born with a disability, but I used to walk with braces. But when I was around 11 years old, I had this surgery done. I needed it because I had like a tumor growing by my spine.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So, like I said, I was born with a back problem, or with a problem with the spine called spina bifida, which is a curving of the spine. And they needed to remove that tumor because it was actually damaging my spine even more. And when they said that if they removed it, that there was a 15% chance that it could become paralyzed. So we took that chance. I say we because I was so young at that time. I couldn't make my own decisions. I was 11 when it happened, so my parents had to decide for me. But I agreed with them. So we decided for the doctors to do that surgery. And when I came out of the surgery, of course, I became paralyzed. And this was like 24 years ago. I'm 35 now. So I can definitely relate in a different way with gratitude, but in that way. So for me, yeah, even though even though I'm paralyzed from my legs, I still have the gratitude that I'm living. I still have my brain, my heart, my arms. I still have my upper body. So
absolutely.
You know,
that almost brought tears in my eyes.
That is powerful.
I mean, because I'm a sensitive person, Dennis. I'm a crybaby.
Yeah.
You guys in Black World now know that Paige is a crybaby because.
But Dennis, earlier in the show, I spoke about, we talked about gratitude, and I gave the example of when I was like 18 or 19, and I would go to like supermarkets, and I would park in the back of the parking lot because I'm not about to wait in the front for a parking space when I was healthy enough and I could walk from the back of the parking lot to the grocery store. And it amazed me how many people would actually wait, for parking spots that were closer to. And brother, you are a testament of somebody who can be in a position to where, at one point you couldn't walk, to now to a point being paralyzed and still be able to sit back and say, you know what?
Exactly.
Just because I can't walk doesn't mean my life is over. Just because I can't walk doesn't mean I can't function at a high capacity. Doesn't mean I can't vibrate at high frequencies. Doesn't mean I can't nurture the lives of other people and nurture the world around me. And brother, man, I got to give you all the props.
You got to get more.
2 hands.
Y'all prop him up.
And
Seriously.
And I want to
thank you.
And I want to celebrate you. And I want to celebrate you on that. And and as you move forward, I want you to know that, for me, you got me in your corner spiritually and energetically. And as you go through life and any hurdles or obstacles that you go through, man, just know you got people, man, that are celebrating you.
Thank you.
And, we appreciate your story. And keep pushing whatever you want to do.
I mean, because I'm sitting here and I'm just like, because I'm a crybaby. Because it's like,
exactly. Here you go.
Come closer.
I'll give you a
No, but I mean, just the fact that you just from hearing your story, Dennis, right? And just hearing you talk about it, you're like, but you know what? I'm still here. And I just before this blab, I got off the phone with a family member that is suicidal.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And it's like, because she's in a dark space, and when you feel that, she told me that she feels like she's just a body walking around without a soul,
Yeah.
And that's a very dark place to be. You know what I mean? And I'm like, through all the pain, all the hurt that you can go through, through all of the misfires and mistakes that you may make, and the trial and tribulation you go through, there has to be something that you're grateful for. There has to be something that, you feel that because she's tried before to commit suicide. But she's still here. So you're here for a reason. Everyone is here for a reason. No matter how hard it may get sometimes, how bleak it may look, because I believe that what you see in front of you is not the full story. You know what I mean? So we live in a world of illusions. And so it's all about what you do with the information that you have, and how you stand on your own truth, and you make your time on earth something to remember. You know what I mean? You live for you, and you express that energy, and you love and you nurture and you care for the people, and you inspire just by sharing your own story. Everyone has a story. You never know what people's story is. So we may all think that sometimes we may think that, we're insignificant sometimes in a sense, because you see all this glitz and glamour and things that you see around you. But your story, I guarantee, I know it resonated with me. you know, and I'm sure it resonated with everyone else on this blab because, I mean, that took courage to even come up here and take a seat and share that part of you. So I'm grateful that you feel comfortable enough with us to do that, Dennis. I appreciate you.
Yeah, for me, excuse me, I just had dinner not that long ago, so I'm still kind of burping my food, so I apologize. But no, for me, well, before I say what I was gonna say, don't get me wrong. At first, there was times where at first I was depressed, where I'll be like, why me? What did I do to deserve this? Or I know it's like a sin, but yeah, I was even going at that age. I was like, what did I do to deserve this and stuff like that? But I had friends of the family. They came over, and their words is what made me change my my thoughts around. They were like, what was it? Don't feel sad. Just think of it of a path that God chose for you, and that's how I see it now. Ever since they told me that, that's how I see it. I feel I'm like this because God had a purpose for me, and ever since that happened, I do feel that I do have a purpose because ever since I've been paralyzed, for one, what was the first thing? I was a mentor at a hospital.
Awesome.
At the same hospital where I had the surgery and all that, I was a mentor over there. So I would mentor kids, young kids who have the same disability, teenagers with my disability, the siblings of the kids or teenagers with disability, and even their parents. So they would change me because it was once a week. So I would be changed every. I want to say it was every Saturday. So ever since that for me, that's what I feel my purpose is.
Absolutely.
To help others. I'm even doing that on Periscope as well right now.
Awesome.
I'm actually every day. I hadn't done this because of an update that I needed to do. I was waiting for an update on Periscope because I had updated iOS 9, and I couldn't use Periscope with that. But now it works. But I'm even doing that through Periscope by showing my followers how somebody who's in a wheelchair, like myself, paralyzed from the legs down, how I can still keep my upper body strength. So what I usually do in like around 11 California time in the morning, I do how I call my wheelchair my wheelchair exercise scopes.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome. I'll do like either resistance band, dumbbells, or what I call many people laugh when I say this, but I do my wheelchair Zumba.
Awesome.
So
I definitely started following you on Blabs, so I look forward to seeing some of your Blabs as well.
Yeah, and if you don't mind sharing this, but if any of you, even the ones who are in the comments, follow me on Periscope. My username is actually wheelchairman35.
Let me write that down. I'll follow you right now.
I'll put it over here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, you beat me too.
All right, Dennis, man, we appreciate you
of course.
for tapping in and sharing your story.
Of course, I like I like sharing my story, especially with what you said, Paige, about the person that you know who's suicidal. In church, I actually had somebody. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, and I'll leave the seat to whoever wants to come in. But there was a person at the church where I go to, where they weren't feeling suicidal, but they wanted to quit. They didn't have no disability or anything, and they wanted to quit school. I'm like, no, don't quit school. I gave them my story about that I was born with a disability, about the paralyzed, and for me, like especially in college, it took me years to graduate because I graduated high school in 1998, and I actually ended up graduating from college in 2012. So I was there at college for for almost 14 years. And many people, and this is what I told the person at church who wanted to quit school. I was like, you know what? I had people who wanted me to quit, even family members who were telling me to quit, that I was there for too long. And I was like, no, I'm not going to quit. Yeah, it could take me a long time. I could have a learning disability, which I do, but I'm not going to quit. So I told that person my story of being paralyzed, my learning disability, and after I talked to that person, they were like, you know what, you've changed my mind. I'm going to continue school.
Awesome.
And I've talked to that person. The person graduated high school and is now going to college.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's all about inspiring.
Exactly.
Beautiful. I definitely appreciate you, brother. Like I said, every Tuesday and Thursday, make sure you always stop by, man, and bless us with your presence.
Awesome energy.
Yeah, thank you.
You keep
absolutely.
I'll be following you guys.
Absolutely. All right, Dennis. Appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Easy, brother. And you know what's great about what Dennis just said is that sometimes that's what it takes. It takes somebody close to you or somebody outside of you to tell you your situation to get you to kind of snap out of your own self-pity. Sometimes it takes that one person like, oh really? You ain't got no shoes.
Right? Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, just
you know what I mean?
Like it's like I say, everybody has a story, and it's like, and so, I was, when I was about to, kind of tap into as far as with the family member that said was super suicidal, is that, I never really understood the power of hugs and I love yous until I became an adult. I have a mother that always hugged on me and loved on me. And I realized that because she was that way with me, it allows me to be more expressive of my feelings, and of my love. And it's not hard for me to receive it in return. And I think about all people that they never got hugged by their parents, never was told I love you by their parents, and they're out here in this world trying to find that. They're trying to find that from their significant others and from total strangers because they did not get that. In as far as the proper nurturing, it is while being a child. And I'm about to cry again because it was like, so crybaby today. But it's sad because, how many people are really grateful for their parents? As much as we, sometimes we don't agree with our parents, and sometimes, but we have to also understand our parents do the best that they can with what they got, and, sometimes some people don't know how to love, They don't know how to actually, care for you the way that you need to be cared for. Because, sometimes people project on you what they are. So if I'm hard and I'm tough, my child hard and tough too, right? Not necessarily. Your child may be sensitive. Your child may need that nurturing, that love, that care. You know what I mean? And so sometimes we don't know how to love people because we don't want to see who we're dealing with. And so, it's like, I'm just very grateful to grow up in a loving environment. I've always been told I love you, and always got hugs and always, hey, wake up, wake up better here. Uh-oh. But I'm just grateful, to grow up in an environment like that. Matter of fact, that's what I want everybody to do. I want you all to type, or you can grab a seat. I want you to tell me what you're grateful for. So this is fall equinox. This is fall. That's why we're doing this show. Yesterday was fall equinox. And so in fall is all about gratitude. If you think about Thanksgiving and the abundance of crops, this is you're celebrating. Your ship has come in, your harvest. So what are you grateful for? What do you have an abundance of? What do you have an abundance of inside of yourself to give? I always believe that, you can't love someone until you're full of love and it's running over and you have nowhere to put it. It's like the sun.
Right.
The sun shines whether the flower's gonna bloom or not. It ain't worrying about the flowers. It's not worrying about, the grass growing. The sun just does what it does. So when do we as individuals just do what we do without anticipation or without any type of expectation of what somebody else is gonna damn do? You know what I'm saying? It's like, just be, act because of. Well, they talk about it a lot in the Tao Te Ching and also in the Bhagavad Gita about, I mean, I might be cute, but I do read. I do read little books every once in a while. But it talks about non-action. Act for action's sake. Not be attached to. I'm sorry, detachment. Excuse me. Not acting because you're expecting something in return, but acting for the sake of the action itself. Whether it is good, the outcome is good or bad, this is a form of worship. It's a form of in a sense, you want to call it God or the universe, but it's a way of honoring the universe and saying, I'm here, and yeah, absolutely. It's that's what it's about, and a lot of us, we do things because we're expecting something, you know what I mean? And we're not doing it for action's sake, like, I can say, for me, and I'm gonna speak for you too, Lex. We're on Blab because yes, I'm gonna talk to you. And Ray gonna let me, and Ray, you're gonna agree with me too. We're here because this is what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? We want to connect, I mean, but whether it's one person or it's 1,000, we're still going to hear, we're still gonna deliver the information. We're still gonna be, be here of service of individuals because we're acting for action's sake. It's not an attachment as to how many people show up or how many people say whatever, how many grab a seat. We're here because this is what we are drawn to do, and I think not enough of us do things because we are compelled to do it. We're always worried about the back end of, how's it going to benefit me? That's just human nature. What's in it for me?
Right.
So.
Right. And how does that tie in? And then if you go back, and it ties in again to, our relationships, whenever we engage with our partners or with people in terms of, I'm going to do this so that way I can get a response that fits my desired thought process. So I'm going to, I'm going for males, I'm going, I'm going to come, I'm going to open up the door, I'm going to practice chivalry. I'm going to do all this stuff because there's a response that I'm looking for. And oftentimes when we don't get that response, or if we stop getting that response, then we stop doing those certain things. And usually, and if those things that we did weren't done from an authentic place, meaning this is just what you do, what's going to happen is you're going to get resentment, and you're going to get, that woman that says, you don't treat me like you used to. And it could be slightly different than evolution, and it could be different when you're talking about family. I know for me, whenever me and Ray first started dating, man, I would be on the phone for like,
oh, that's so sweet.
I mean, like, whenever I started training for fighting and had the security company and was,
she was looking like, who are you?
Wouldn't know hours. It was tired, it was tired. It was, amongst other things, but that shift in behavior pattern, it's, it can be looked at from the other person of either lack of interest or, or you're not showing gratitude. You're not showing gratitude towards them. You're no longer doing what you used to do, so you don't appreciate me. You don't appreciate the access that I give you to me. Somebody else could be getting this, and you're not.
How about it?
You know what I mean? This happens often in our relationship. I'm gonna go back to your first question, because I think this would be a good thing to cap off the show. What are we grateful for? All right, so I'll start off. I'm going to start off with the obvious. I'm grateful for even being able to breathe, for being here, because me being able to breathe and being here means I have the ability to create.
Absolutely.
I can create whatever I want in the day, in the moment, in the second, in the breath, I can create. So I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful to be able to have a network of people, friends and family, that I feel like have an authentic space in their heart. I've been blessed to be able to have people throughout my life that have stayed. That is just the relationships are so strong and so tight knit, and there's a comfort, and there's a security around it, and they've lasted for 15, 20, 30 years. I just lost my brother, right, 3 months ago. The attached to the hip, man, since 6 years old. And he's not my blood brother. I call him my brother because he was my sibling. And I have gratitude. And part of part of me being able to deal with it, cope with it, is because, man, I have gratitude for me even being able to have somebody like that in my life for that amount of years. So gratitude also spills over into legacy. You know, you being able to remember somebody and have gratitude towards them. Man, I appreciate my daughters, my kids, man. I appreciate being able to, be in my children's life. I appreciate being able to groom them. Like I was a stay-at-home dad and building a business. So I was able to see my daughters grow.
It's a beautiful thing.
All the way up from babies, So these are all the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the situation. I'm grateful I stay me. I'm grateful to be able to have this platform. And on all this stuff allows me to create more. Being grateful for it allows me to attract the same and create more. And it also allows me to shed any negativity or anything that I no longer fit, any box that I've grown out of. You know what I mean? It allows me to do that. So that's what I'm grateful for. I look forward to seeing all the things that you guys.
They're grateful for a lot of stuff. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Grateful being a unique being that will never be duplicated. Grateful for opportunities. What else I saw up here? And that was Cherie. Grateful for life, being able to help others, but mainly I'm grateful for God. Yes, absolutely, Ernesto. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for love. Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful things. What else we got here? To transform lives and doing what I love and finding my purpose. Absolutely. I guess I'll go ahead and say what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for taking my power back, for waking up and really realizing, how powerful I am, and grateful for recognizing, the light that I shine in the abilities that I have. A lot of times we spend so much time thinking about what we do. We're not thankful for the ability to do them. So I'm so grateful and humble for my natural talents. I'm grateful for having friends that I don't have to talk to every day, but I know that if I need them, they're there. I'm grateful for those people that are in my soul family. The people that I've met, most of the people that are in my soul family, I met online. I didn't meet in person. So just grateful for technology to help me find those wonderful people. Would you say? Like from MySpace. MySpace. I mean, all those great spaces, and places. I'm grateful for love. I'm grateful for the ability to accept and receive it. I'm grateful to be love, and to be able to exude that energy. I'm grateful for everyone that is here and sharing their gratitude with us, because I don't know if you realize this, but we're creating a vortex of energy right now, just with this powerful energy that we're exchanging, in a positive space. It's so much talk about what's wrong with the world, but no one really talks about what's right with the world. And so gratitude is so important, because it takes the blame game off you. You know what I mean? It's almost, you're always looking down on yourself and thinking about what you're missing, what you're lacking, and your limitations and what you can't do and why you can't do them. What about what you have done? And just, soar from that, and take one step at a time, and lastly, to state the obvious, I'm grateful to have to be, to know a father's love. I think that it's gonna make me cry, because I lost my father 2 years ago. So, if I didn't know a father's love for me as a daddy's girl, I think that I would have continued to perpetuate a lot of the stereotypical things that you see about women, and behave in a particular certain way that didn't honor myself or honor my father. Because at the end of the day, that I look at what you do, I'm kind of old school. So what you do is a reflection of your parents and what they instill in you. You know what I mean? if you choose to, of course. Sometimes, we act up and we don't do what the hell we were taught or raised to do. But I'm grateful that I had a father that kept it real with me, kept it 1,000, told me the game, you know what I'm saying? But also showed me what a gentleman was like, you know what I'm saying? My dad opened car doors, you know what I'm saying? He was a man's man, and it allowed me to be able to recognize that in the man that I have now, because I knew what a man looked like. I knew what he walked like. I knew what he talked like. I knew how he treated a woman. You know what I mean? I had that. I was able to experience that, and I'm so grateful for that because it made me a better woman. You know what I'm saying? And it made me honest with myself about what it is that I require and what I need and what I want. So that way I didn't have stuff, and I didn't pretend to be something that I was not for anybody, including in my relationships, because I got that from my daddy. My daddy tell me, you a turn quest. We don't throw pity parties. That's my daddy talking. You know what I'm saying? So I got that, that strength and that raw and uncut. So when y'all hear me talk all crazy and stuff, that's my dad. You know what I'm saying? Because he appreciated me for who I was. He showed me, he was the first man to love me as is. And I think every woman needs that. I think every man needs that from his mother, to be loved as is. And if you're not, then you will forever be, you will always have a part of you that is incomplete and broken. And you're going to look for that in somebody else. You're going to look for a supplemental mother or father. So I'm very grateful, Daddy. Thank you for that. So, and I'm crying on Blab. Wow.
It's all good because it's what we do. We get in here. We get in here and we're going to share ourselves.
You have to. I mean,
we're here as coaches, but we're here to experience and share ourselves because we all learn.
Absolutely.
We all learn from our experiences. And Paige, man, I'm going to tell you, I just love hearing what you said because it confirmed, especially about your father, because I have my whole thing with Great Father Roll Call, Stand Up Man, my organization. And I'm huge on, celebrating fatherhood. It feels so great. It makes me feel great as a man and being a father to know that you as a woman appreciate what fatherhood is and what it's supposed to represent and the effect that it's supposed to have, and recognizing that the absence of it, what the absence could possibly do if you didn't have it. And we all see that. We see that in many areas of our lives. We see in our relationship, just like you said. If the son has never had the opportunity to experience a man or a woman loving him as is, in the position that he's in his best or worst, then he's always going to be looking for affirmation, and he's always going to be working out of his, out of character and his lower self, trying to fill that void. And the same thing for a woman. And I say this all the time. It's like, my daughters have they have the ability. They have a father that's going to love them as is. And there's a lot of women that don't have that. And then what ends up happening is they choose men that will love them through all their faults and their hurts and their bad decision making skills. You're grown now. You're grown, and you're still seeking out that. You link up with another man that you see yourself in who ain't got that either. So he's looking for that. So he's looking for you to love him at his worst, and you're looking for him to love you at his worst, and it's causing conflict. Yeah. Because you're both like, I ain't got time for you. I need you to be here for me. I never worked. So I had to do a whole lot of work just to kind of iron myself out and get myself situated so that way I can present myself in a proper posture for my family. So big ups to you. A lot of hands, a lot of high fives.
Thank you.
To you on that. And I love that dude. I ain't never met him, but I love what he produced.
Absolutely. And he's something else now. He was a beast now. I mean, I'm all cuddly and nice, but that other side, that's daddy making me tough. But welcome everybody that just joined us. We were talking about gratitude. If you just joined us, tell us what you're grateful for, because we are celebrating the finally, reaping what you've sown. So what are you grateful for? And just, like, our new friend here, SJ, gratitude journal.
Right.
Get one if you don't have one. You know?
Let me ask you this, Paige.
Sure.
Do you think people who have not had a lot in life have a greater ability to practice gratitude? You know, people who just been in some of the worst positions possible, you know, tend to appreciate life so much more. Can you gauge somebody's you know, upbringing based off of the gratitude? Like you see somebody and they just don't appreciate shit. Like
sometimes you can.
Having a lot of shit because
sometimes
you can't
because they never had to go without, they never had to earn anything, so therefore they take things for granted. Absolutely.
Right. You ain't never learned to put no water on the cereal. That's why
I ain't never did that one. Now you got me on that one. Now wait a minute. Water on what? If it wasn't no milk, it wasn't no. I wasn't doing no cereal. No, like I don't need cereal that bad. That's okay. I eat it dry as a snack, like Cheerios, Kicks. You know.
Sandwiches.
What kind of sandwiches?
Syrup sandwiches.
I done did that before. Them shit's good though too.
Yeah,
they are.
Because you ain't never like when the air conditioner go out in the summertime, oh, they lose their mind. They don't know how to open up the window.
I'm from Florida. I'm born and raised here. We don't have air conditioners go out down here. It's too goddamn hot to be playing with air conditioners go out in Florida.
Listen,
shoot,
in Florida,
you don't cry.
This is something a lot of people don't know about me, and this was before, not too long before I met you.
Mm-hmm.
But matter of fact, just around the time before I met you, there was a good period of time in Florida where I was homeless. So down on Hollywood Boulevard, you know that old mall, the Millennium Mall on Hollywood Boulevard?
Yeah.
Down Hollywood Boulevard, in between, you know what I'm talking, right? The old mall.
Yeah, downtown.
That parking garage, I slept in my car in that parking garage for a good, I was broke, nothing. Got kicked out of the house that I was renting from down there. So there was a good, I had nothing. It was just me and my car and my stuff in the back. And on top of that, I got messed around, pulled over, and almost got arrested because my light was out and then my tags were.
Oh my gosh.
So, it's like, and that's not the first time. That's probably like the third time in life I've ever experienced homelessness. And I think that what that's done is it allowed me to have more gratitude. Like, so it allowed me to be able to go through struggle and not flip out and know that it's going to be
say the end, right?
It's not that, hey, I want to stay here. It's that it's going to be okay and it's going to work itself out. Because I done been in way worse places and then work myself out. So you have gratitude for what you have and you build and you create off of what you have. I think that people who never really experienced that rock bottom, that grit of life, they have a hard time looking at their own life and saying, this ain't too bad.
Hold that thought, okay? Because see, I was gonna get something. You just brought me back to what I was gonna get. But see, the one I got here ain't showing me what I want to show y'all. So hold on 1 second. Okay, so you said something.
Toys. Over there. We bring out the toys.
I ain't bringing out the toys. Not today. I mean, I'm grateful for my toys.
You ain't ready for that.
I'm grateful for all my vibrators, all my lube choices and varieties, my handcuffs, my paddle, my blindfold, my couples toys, the cock rings that vibrate, my handcuffs that are my rearview mirror. I'm grateful for all those things. He's like, what the hell?
Mirror?
Yeah, I have handcuffs on my rearview mirror.
Oh, I thought you had like a rearview mirror so that like you could see behind you.
But true story though, sex tip for the watchers.
Mm-hmm.
Get a mirror, right? Put it on the floor. Have sex over the mirror. You can see everything. Okay. Let me find what I was looking for.
A sex coach.
Yeah. Sometimes people forget that. It's okay. That made dating hard. That made dating so hard. You tell somebody you're a sex coach on a date.
It ain't happening.
Lex, I was on a date And I told the guy that I had a business. He said, "What's the business?" I said, "It's in health and wellness," because I'm trying to avoid really saying what the hell it is, right? So he's like, "Oh, so you teach me how to eat right?" And I was like, "No, I can't teach you how to do none of that." He's like, "Well, what is it exactly?" So I'm like, "Well, I'm a sex coach." The conversation changed totally. He started licking his lips at me across the table. Somebody offering me his mouth and stuff. I'm like, "Dude, I just met you yesterday at a light. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you got diseases. You offer me your mouth like that. Something wrong. Something ain't right here."
Somebody tells you who they are, believe them.
I did. Right. I can't get a kiss. Do you have STD? Do you have your paperwork in your glove compartment of your car? Because I'm not kissing you. I don't even know you. What's wrong with you?
What is your website?
My website, yes, PaigeDiamond.com. That's my name.com. I'm looking for something. Why can't I find it? Because I need to show you this before we leave. Because it's a message in this, and it goes in concert with what you were talking about, Lex, about just being stripping down to nothing. I think that here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So you see the movies, right? Like all the little horror movies, and sometimes you have like the fortune teller in the horror movies, right? In the horror movies, they always show this card right here. Right? The death card. And everybody's like, "Ooh," you get all scared and like, "Oh my God, the death card." Well, let me give y'all a little science on this card. This card is probably one of the best cards you can ever get in the tarot deck. And I'll tell you why. You look at the card, right? The skeleton is that. What is your skeleton? Your skeleton is who you are at the essence, bare bone. That's what your whole body is built up on, right? Is your actual skeleton, okay? And so, what it is this card is telling you about an end, something is coming to an end, and that is stripping you down to nothing to build you back up. See, there's a sun shining in the background. The sun will rise again. So no matter what it is that you go through in life, while it may seem like it is the very, very worst, sometimes you have to purge. Life purges you sometimes, so that way it can build you up to something greater than what the hell you were before. Sometimes the things that you had before were in the goddamn way. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. When I stayed by myself, when you met me, all I did was work, go to college, and work. That's all I did, because I had to keep up the appearance of being grown. That's what you people think. That's being grown, having your own place, having your own car, whatever. So I was working to maintain a lifestyle that I couldn't even enjoy, because my light bill was $40 a month. I was never there. So it's like, well, who am I doing all this for? And how am I ever going to build my legacy if all I'm doing is working on somebody else's job to maintain these good old bills that I've inherited, because I want to prove to somebody that I'm grown and I'm Miss Independent. Who's that helping? No one. So what did I do? Stripped down to nothing, like that card. Went moved back home to the crib. And I made a vow to myself that I was not going to be moving out ever again until I was able to live on my own terms with passive income. Not from a job, because jobs will wake up and tell you that you got to go. It wasn't about doing it the same way that I've always done it. I know that way didn't work for me. So what I had to do, I had to let go of some things. I had to release some baggage. I had to let go of the apartment. I had to let go of, a lot of different things in order to get to where I needed to get to. Right. But I understood that a lot of people, they kill themselves over material things. Being homeless, people break. They can't deal with something like that. You know what I mean? Because they're attached to things. Things define them. They don't understand that you can always get more. You can always get more. And it's always going to be someone that has a bigger house, a better car, look better than you. You know what I'm saying? Shape better than you. Have more money than you. It's always going to be more. It's always going to be someone that has more of. So the whole point of gratitude is just really being happy, with the fact that you're still here. You're still going strong. You still have your health, life, and strength. You know what I mean? And even if you don't have your health, you know what I mean? You still got life in you. You know what I'm saying? You can correct that. You can make changes. You can make strides to be healthier, a healthier version of you, And so I just wanted to show that card because that's what made me think about when it's just being stripped down to nothing.
Right.
It's power in that.
Right.
It is.
Right. And you
because nothing's holding you back.
Right. You got to have courage, because a lot of those things that we're holding on to, we hold on to it as protection. So when you strip down that protection, you get down to the bare bone of who you are. Then what ends up happening, you find that's protection itself. You know, that courage to be totally exposed is strength. You know, strength in itself. And you know, and that what it does is it allows you to have more gratitude. It allows you to appreciate, you know, yourself and the people around you. Like I said, man, I've been blessed to have some great people. I've been blessed to have a woman that, you know, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, there's not a lot of dudes out there that have a woman that will allow them to build a business, you know, while she supports them. Matter of fact, there's not a lot of dudes out there that'll celebrate other men. You know, it's very difficult for a male to build a business in this day and age, because there's this perspective that, you know, it can be done all by yourself. And there's a perspective that you're not allowed to have nothing, you know, until you get it. You're not allowed to have kids. You're not allowed to have a woman that loves you. You're not allowed to have fun. You're not allowed to smile. You're not allowed to enjoy life if you don't have a certain level of accumulated wealth or money. And that's just not true at all. And I've been really blessed to be able to meet a woman who I was able to make, at least be able to make feel secure in my vision, you know, break it down to her and say, this is where I go. And, you know, and be a leader in it. And then she hold me to it. And then she support me along the way. You know, it doesn't happen often. And I have gratitude, because whether, you know, how long it lasts, doesn't matter. Hope it lasts forever. However long it lasts, I'm appreciate every second of it. And then even if it happens to be gone, I'm appreciate it thereafter, because there's dudes out there that don't get 5 minutes of freedom to develop. You know what I mean? To develop, and they have a cheermate. You know,
absolutely.
Like what you said before, you gotta be able to bring a sandwich. You know what I mean? So if I can't bring a sandwich, that pretty much means when I was sleeping in that, you know, in that car lot, in that parking lot, you know what I mean, I wasn't worthy of having a woman, because I didn't have a sandwich.
Let me ask you a question though, in concert, in connection to that. Okay. Do you feel, because I hear men say this, that you have to, when you were at that point, I'll put it that way, when you're at that point, right, when you didn't have a sandwich, right? Did you feel more compelled to be able to, I guess you could say, position yourself so that way you did have a sandwich? You feel what I'm saying? Like, this is different. See, some of you don't have it, right? Cool. You don't have it. But did you feel comfortable being in a relationship not having that sandwich? That's my question to you.
Well, I had a
just as far as just within yourself, saying, you know, because you know you're better than that. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. I would have to say no, because I've grown up in a society where, you know, at no time has anybody ever said that was okay. You know, I'm a black male, and at no time in life has anybody in society or through a woman's mouth said it was okay for me to be hurting and worthy at the same time. You know, and that's just the honest truth. If you look at most black men, they'll never tell you that there's ever been a time where, unless it's their mom. Their mom is the only time that a black man is able to be hurting and worthy at the same time. Everything outside of that is conditional. I mean, it's conditional. You know what I mean? Hey, you don't have this, you're not worthy of that. You know, you don't have that, you're not worthy. So in my mind, I'm already telling myself I'm not worthy. So I'm going to reject, even if a woman did say she want to be there, I'm going to reject her. I'm going to reject it, because in my mind, I'm already telling myself I'm not worthy.
You're not worthy.
I am, because, you know, my whole life has been telling me. So I would have to say no. One thing I did have, though, was I was able to have gratitude for my health and my strength. You know what I mean? At that time, I was, you know, I was in good health. I could move, I could walk, I could think. You know, so I got up and did what I had to do. I did my networking. I talked to people. I built relationships, and little by little, I kind of got myself out of the situation I was in, and even where I am now. All those same character traits is what's going to get me to the next level.
Absolutely.
So I have to have gratitude now, so that way I can get to the next level. But yeah, to answer your question, I think it's right. I don't think it's right. I think that everybody should be able to be loved and connect with somebody authentically, no matter where you are on a social lower self.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that there's any time where you should not you're not able to connect on a human level because of a social construct.
Well, connecting on a human level does not necessarily mean being involved in a relationship. As far as an intimate relationship, like as far as boyfriend, girlfriend. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know, like, for example, I'm going to give you this is where I say that, right? I have an uncle, right? Mm-hmm. And he said that because of his particular, and I think it really depends on how you define yourself as a man too, has a lot to do with it as well. Because I have an uncle, he said that, when he was, in between jobs, struggling, whatever, he said he didn't want to date because he didn't feel that, he said he felt that the type of woman that he required would not even look at him. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't at a certain level. So he's not going to date and just settle for what's down there when he knows that his taste is higher up than where he is. So until he's up high enough to where he should be to get that what he wants, he's not going to get anything else. So when I think about that, it's almost like, I always wonder, do men think that way? As if like, you know what? Well, I feel that I should not be with anybody if I'm not even able to provide for myself, because how am I going to come to someone else if I'm not even able to do for myself and be in a relationship?
Right. And it's socialized. And like I said,
mm-hmm.
the reason why your uncle said that is because he was socialized under the same thoughts that I was.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to know self and you understand that we are part of a larger universal code than
mm-hmm.
just what we're socially conditioned to be, you find out that your worth or your value is much more than just money or materials. You can nurture somebody's life and never have to exchange anything physical.
Mm-hmm.
We've been nurturing each other's lives and we've never exchanged anything physical.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So in reality, we have a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to see ourselves, and I'm able to see myself in you, and you're able to see me, and you're able to see yourself in me, and we can relate, and we have a relationship.
Absolutely.
We have to be intimate. All relationships, we both, like you said in the last show, all relationships start with friendships. That's relating at a higher plane. And
mm-hmm.
until we really understand that we have to relate on a higher plane, when we really understand that we say, hey, you know what, our engagement with one another has nothing to do with physical assets, but it has to do with energetic assets and energetic capabilities. How do we feed one another? Can I walk into your life and make your day feel great when you have absolutely nothing physical? Can I make you smile
mm-hmm.
in that parking lot? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's right. So and when we start changing our currency and value one another, then I think that's when our relationships are going to become more valuable. We got to change the currency, and right now it's still very much, even amongst coaches, there's
mm-hmm.
still a lot of physical, economic, capitalistic traits that are that are fed in the ingredients of the relationships that we coach about, and it's got to go. We got to get it out. It's toxic, it's processed, and it's not natural. It's not of earth.
Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. Love and light. I came out of lurking station to let you know this conversation is really blessing me. Aw, it's making me really think differently about things. I thank you both. Grateful. Aw, absolutely. Well, thank you for coming out of lurking and joining us, Love and Light. Well, those ways.
Yeah, this is what we aspire to do. So, we're glad it's effective for you. We're glad we're able to touch you in a certain way. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:00. Tuesdays, ask us anything. Thursday, we have a specific topic. So, matter of fact, we're coming to an end. It's 10:59. So,
woohoo! But I mean, awesome note to leave it off of. We're gonna talk about this currency on Tuesday.
This currency, yeah.
We're gonna talk about that currency.
And how your currency ain't worth as much as my currency.
Straighten me out. Get me together then, Mr. Kelly.
actually, next week, I may be able to still do it. I should be able to still do it. Next week, I'll be in Canada. With
You being where? In Canada?
In Canada with Alexander
right.
Starr. So,
you're coming. You're flying in tomorrow, right?
I'm flying down to South Florida tomorrow. If any of you guys are in South Florida, you guys can check out the Miami Urban Music and Film Festival. So I'll be on stage at like 7 o'clock.
But they push you back? Is it 7? That was 6:15. 6:30.
Yeah. Is it 6:30 to 6:45?
6:30.
I'll be there at 4:30. But
I'm gonna come. I'll be there.
Good to see you. So anybody in South Florida, come check it out. And Tuesday night and Thursday, if I'm not here, Paige,
I'll be here.
Down. Get it popping. But I should.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to hold me down the next week because I'll be in Mexico, Jamaica, and Grand Cayman. I can't wait.
She's stunned. But I should be able to tap in. If not, then Paige will hold it down. That next Thursday, I think a great topic will be the power of reaction. Are you reacting or are you creating?
Set it up. Like it.
They gotta be a hot. The power of reaction.
Absolutely.
Reacting or you. So again, we thank all y'all for coming in. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Mr. Lex Kelly and
at Sex Coach Paige. And also that's my Instagram as well.
Instagram as well for me at Mr. Lex Kelly. And if you see me on Facebook, it's Mr. Lex Kelly as well. It's Mr. Lex, then a space, then Kelly on Facebook. But yeah, man, we thank y'all for coming out, man. We had a really good show. I think this was one of the best ones of the classic. Dennis really came.
Yeah, I think y'all got me crying on Blab. Y'all got the emotion at the girl. I'm supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, kind of, tough and stuff. I gotta represent for my girls who will show our vulnerability. We think we, so tough nowadays. We can't be vulnerable. We can talk about that another time.
Daddy'll do that to you.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed everybody. Thank you for interacting and expressing your gratitude with us and sharing in this moment with us. It's fall. It's about abundance. It's about, just really, really just letting go and shifting your reality, shifting your mindset with it. And that's what we're here to do on this blab. So we appreciate you for, kicking it with us. Absolutely. And blabbing with us. Is that the right way to say it?
We blabbing here. Y'all have a good.
Yeah, I have a good night. All right. Peace, passion, and bliss. No. Peace.